You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Welcome back, Rebels. The debauchery will continue. How are you doing? Happy Thanksgiving. Get your favorite beverage, your favorite cigar. Even if you want to snack a little bit before, a little pregame and get your belly ready for tomorrow. Do it all, baby. We're going to be gluttons today. There's plenty of sports topics to get into. Gluttony. We've got adult beverages, gluttony. We've got cigars, gluttony. It's all about gluttony today. Happy pre-turkey day. I hope you guys are all ready to be fat and sassy tomorrow, even though it'll be a big fat slate of doo-doo when it comes to the NFL. But we'll talk about that and a whole lot more as we get into it. And y'all, don't rush the barriers, because we got more than a choke for you. Let's get this thing rolling, Rebels. Without further ado, let's do the do we do at DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is your host, the man, the myth, the legend, and a dapper one at that. Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we're back here for another edition of DSR2 on Thanksgiving Eve. We're not at the bar, but we are enjoying a little bit of adult beverages here. Drinking a little bit of Evan Williams, actually a Manhattan. I made up a couple batches of these, so I'll be partaking in that and my cigar, and we're all set to go here. So,
hey, this is Studio 57. It's a bar just in reference alone. So yes. We're good here, man. We're having a good time. I hope you guys are all fired up and ready, and you're ready for a good holiday, and there's going to be sports all day. And
because this time tomorrow we're going to be in a turkey coma.
Yes, but we've got a hell of a week, and because you got a long weekend, like you said, the turkey coma, you got all day NFL Thursday. The games aren't going to be great, but it's still the NFL, right? And we've got plenty of fun stuff to talk about on and off the court and field and such. And it is going to be one hell of a weekend for sports. It's rivalry week here.
Yes.
As much as the in-state rivalry was a thing a couple weeks ago, this is our true rivalry. And this is for like all the marbles, really. So we'll talk a little Michigan, Ohio State, if you guys want to get into it. And, of course, we'll review all that stuff. There's just so much, Moose. There's so much meat on the bone when it comes to just stuff that's been going on here this last week. And of course, we can get into our traditional turkey talk.
Yeah.
As far as, what's your go-tos and all those kinds of things this holiday season. So the plate is all there for you, really. Everything is available to you. So text line we'll get that up here for you in a second. Get it on the social media, Studio 57 Radio across the board, Spreaker, Facebook, YouTube, TuneIn, Stitcher, all that good stuff. We're Studio 57 on Twitter, but that is not the broadcast. Studio57radio.com and those other prior platforms is where it's at. Moose, I am pumped. I've been dying for a long weekend, especially after such a busy one last week. And these 3 days, of course, with the short week, everything's trying to get shoehorned. You're trying to shoehorn 5 days into 3. So I'm glad. And guys, and everybody, I want to apologize right now to all our friends in retail who are going to hate life on Friday.
Right.
Hopefully you don't encounter too many douchebags. Be nice to the retail people out there too. I mean, their job's not fun.
No, it's gonna be a rough one on them. But you know what? The good thing is, at least all the retailers now are at least wising up and giving them at least Thanksgiving off now.
Yeah, that was a trend started by Target.
Yes, and Target officially announced today this week, we are not opening Thanksgiving anymore. That's it. Deal with it.
I'm gonna tell you what really inspired it. Amazon.
Yes, because people don't have to say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go stand in line. I'll
Yeah.
order it on Amazon.
I am not shopping anywhere probably terrestrially. I've picked up a couple things already terrestrially just by accident. I'm like, ooh, okay, there's something, and it's a good price. So, like, I'll do that, and then, but when we start getting down to this time of year where everybody's out there just destroying the stores, I ain't having no part
I'm
of
not
it.
going into the box stores on it. I'm done. If I'm going to go to a store, it's going to be a local store.
Yeah.
And just try to get something little for, basically on
Yeah,
there.
yeah. If I'm doing some fill-in stuff, I will go to a mom and pop shop and I'll fill in.
Right.
Even if I just go get a gift card for somebody to go shop there.
Yes.
Like there's a retro video game store like down the road, and my daughter just got her new place, and she does the retro gaming when she gets a chance, and so like maybe I'll do something like that. I don't know. I've got something else on mind for her, but that's an example, And then to be honest with you, all the cool stuff that I can make that people really want, I can get away with doing fillers with that, right? Like I can make. Like last year I made everybody wallets as like a filler to stuff that I bought them, right? And they were all custom, handmade, nice leather wallets. You'd probably spend $60-$80 on these damn things in the store and hook them up for, just as a filler. So like that's how I do things. I get stuff along the way. I try to just, if I see something that's a good deal and it reminds me of somebody, I grab it. And then either that birthday or that Christmas comes and I got it. And so I'm not dealing with this nonsense. I'll go on Amazon. I'll order what I need to order from there, and that'll be that.
Right.
I mean, and then there's always somebody that you can't shop for, right? There's always somebody on the list that's like, oh geez, I don't know what the hell to get them. They got everything, or I know what they like, but I'm not sure what I should get because they may have it or whatever. So gift card. There's always the gift card bailout, and I can get that anywhere. Mm-hmm. I don't need to go to these crazy. I just can't do it, man. It's been like that my whole life. I have PTSD from being raised in Summit Place Mall. I mean, because my mom when I was a kid worked in retail. It was Hudson's back at the day, and now it's Macy's now because it went from Hudson's to Marshall Fields to Macy's.
Well, it went from Hudson's to Dayton Hudson's to
Dayton Hudson's.
I remember. I mean, on there, I was, going to college, and I worked a couple years in retail. One year was at the old Circus World. At that time too, it was the year that Transformers and Cabbage Patch Dolls became the #1 toy in the world.
Oh, dude.
And it was absolute chaos. You get your shipment in, they'd be lined out the door before you open the doors just to race in there and get everything on there. I mean, I had to break up a fight, 2 women fighting over a Cabbage Patch doll.
Oh, dude, it was the same thing. So my mom was, of course, in retail at that time because when she worked at Hudson's when they had a hats and wigs department.
Okay.
So she was there that long ago. So she worked there in the 70s all the way up into the early 2000s. So she was there for 35 years or whatever it was. And through all the different transitions. And it was the same thing. I'm a little bit younger, Moose, but the one I think that stood out the most, now I didn't get stuck in all of it, but I heard all the horror stories. And she wasn't quite in the middle of it because of where she was in the mall, but the Tickle Me Elmo phase.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the malls were just pure chaos. And so when I was growing up as kids, there was always something every year. It felt like there was something, like you said, Cabbage Patch one year. I was pretty young then. But there was always something, it felt like every year, whether it be gaming systems became a thing almost every year at one point in the 90s. And so, like, it's just, it's just, and I lived in the place because my ma, she's kind of a single ma. I was old enough to kind of so she'd just take me to the mall. I hang out in the employee lounge and wander the mall all day. And like, I hate the effing mall and the whole scenario. And back in those days, there was no internet, online shopping. No. People were like remember the commercials about they'd be all smashed up against the fucking glass to get into the appliance stores and stuff. And but that's how that was back then. People were getting trampled to get in and get stuff. And I'm like, I will never subscribe to that chaos. I don't know how you guys do it that go out there and do that stuff.
I never understood the whole pack thing of camping out 3 days in front of Best Buy to be the first one. I'm like,
even concert tickets. Okay, I kind of get it, but even that, man, maybe I come out a couple hours before they open or something. I'm not sitting out there for 2 or 3 days in a little pop-up out in front of Ticketmaster like they did back in the 80s or whatever.
Right. Well, I remember those on there. We were trying to get tickets on there, and we took turns on basically. On there, every couple hours and switching out and everything with it. But I think the most I ever stood was like 12 hours to get AC/DC tickets.
I went, okay, so when the smartphone first came out, and the Galaxy phone was the first one out, so Sam's Club had a had a deal with Verizon. If you get a new contract, you get the phone for like 97 cents or some dumb shit. And back then the phones were like whatever, $300 or $400, but that was a lot, way back then, whatever, we're talking 15 years ago. And so it's like, just go down there and wait in line. I'm like, I don't want to do it. And my old lady's like, no, we're doing it because we're both getting new phones, because we had the old school flip shit phones. And she's like, we're going down there. We go down there, and they gave us a voucher and a time to come back. And I was like, yes. I waited in line 10 minutes, got my voucher, and left.
Right.
Came back like 4.5 hours later, instead of sitting there and waiting. I don't wait. I'm not doing it. No. I'm not. When I go by like a McDonald's or a Timmy Hortons or whatever, and I see the big long line around the drive-through, I just want to throw up. I ain't doing that either.
No.
I'll
find somewhere else. I'll try.
I'm such an impatient son of a bitch. If I go to a restaurant and it's a 45-minute wait, I dip.
Yes.
I dip. I'll wait 25 minutes. I ain't waiting 45 minutes. And if it's a really nice place and we're there and I don't feel like going somewhere, I might wait a half hour or so-ish and not get too bent out of shape. But no, especially now when you got to wait in your effing car.
Right.
Well,
I was like, last year we went with the future in-laws and we did the tunnel of trees, and there's this restaurant at the very end called Legs Inn up north, and it's a really cool eclectic place, and they specialize in Polish food, and the weather was miserable, and I'm thinking it was still a 2-hour wait, and I'm like, I didn't drive, so I'm like, all right, I get on there, but we could walk around. There was a small little town, so we could walk around this, like antique shops or whatever.
Sure,
and look around, but it ended up being about a little over an hour. But still, I'm with you. I'm not waiting an hour.
Yeah, no. I can't do it.
No,
I can't do it. I don't have the patience for it, and I just wanna do my thing and get moving. To be honest with you, there isn't anything out there that moves me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like. It's like the Popeyes chicken or the Chick-fil-A and the Popeyes chicken and all that, the chicken sandwich gimmick. I'm not waiting 6 hours in line for a sandwich. It's a flipping sandwich.
Right.
Like I still haven't had one. That's how much I don't care.
They're good. They're nothing groundbreaking or any of that
That's
crap.
what I'm saying. It's effing chicken.
Yeah.
It's probably pumped full of GMOs and all this other crap any fucking way. Excuse my language.
It's not like I'm getting a Wagyu beef or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not. What are those crazy? Yeah, the little Japanese bowls or whatever.
I get Kobe beef for like $3.99 on it. Yeah, I'll stay in line for an hour and a half.
All right.
But for a chicken sandwich, I'll just go down the road and get one somewhere else.
It's just not that. It's not that big a deal. So, yeah, I just don't have the patience for all that. You really, really got to do something to wow me to get me to wait for anything anymore. Yeah. I'm just not. The problem is I was kind of a lucky young man as far as I met a lot of people and got to do a lot of things. So, like, nothing really uber excites me anymore because for the most part, I've gotten a good chunk of my bucket list. You know what I'm saying? Like I haven't lived all of my dreams, obviously, because some things are just become unattainable at some point. But I think like my bucket list, there's a few things on my bucket list. Sure. And I may or may not get to them,
right.
for the most part, my bucket list is, I had a pretty long bucket list of a lot of things I wanted to do and things I didn't even know I wanted to do, right? And I was like, this is amazing. So, and there'll still be more because that's what life is. But it's just not a whole lot of things that like really get me pumped up, man. Like,
yeah, my bucket list is more about experiences and that right now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, and a couple of these things, people look at me and I tell them,
is.
oh, yeah, this is number one on the bucket list. And they look at me like, I'm freaking from Mars. And then again, number one on my bucket list is I want to get in a cage, go in the water, and I want to see a 15 to 20 foot great white swim.
You want to do the shark test?
I want to see the great one. Not again. I don't again. I've done the whole scuba diving.
Yes.
And again, seeing nurse sharks or lemon sharks, that's fine. I want to see a great white. I want a 15 to 20 footer swim by me and just go, holy shit.
So when I was younger, I wanted to do that. My daughter Ray Lee would probably be all about that as well. When I was younger, I would have been all about that. As I've gotten older and have been, with the sharks and stuff like that, not like you said with smaller like reef sharks and like they're little sissy sharks, and been in the ocean, and so I just don't know. I'd have to do more stuff first, right? Like I couldn't just jump into that tank and no, I'm not jumping in that cage. And I got to do something else first. I have to work my way up to that. I've learned that. Like I didn't think it'd be a big deal, but then we go off to Turtle Cove, where they got a shipwreck thing, and we go and we do this. You could do some deep dive snorkeling there, and But when you hit that ocean water and you see how clear it is and you start swimming in it, once you get over the shock of just being in that water, because you don't do it every day, because we're from the Midwest, we get in the lake.
You can't see shit.
Yeah, and it don't feel that way. Like the way the salt and the water affects your body, it's nothing like a freshwater lake. It isn't. If you spent your whole life in freshwater inland lakes and you go... Even if you go from an inland lake to the Great Lakes, you're like, whoa, damn, this is kind of crazy. But if you go from, freshwater to saltwater, it's a shock the first time you're in it. So, like, if you think you've never been in the ocean and you're going to just jump into a shark cage, you're sadly mistaken. I just got news for you. So I know through that experience that I need to build up to it. So I would say that I would do that. I would totally do that. But I don't know if it's as high on my bucket list as it used to be. It's kind of like one of those things that, like, if I had the experience where I could go somewhere and maybe do a dive one day and then come back in a couple days and then hit the thing, and they set us up and they show you everything and do a walkthrough, and then then maybe I could do something like that, and I would do it if it was one of those opportunities where you couldn't pass it up, right? Like, oh, you're here, I'll take you too. You can go.
Yeah, well, that's what I was hoping. Like
I would totally do it.
Right, my daughter Jessica, who's showing some inclination of going to school. I mean, when she goes to college and that, she's looking possibly as being a marine biologist now. So I said, cool. I said, if you get like an internship on O-Search, which is this boat that goes around there, and they tag the great whites and wave.
Oh, yeah.
And they allow you to go on there for a summer internship. And by chance, they have say, oh, yeah, you can bring a parent for a week or so.
Sure.
Dad better be the first one on that damn list.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
Because I'm on this. And me and her have that common bond of we
okay.
think sharks are the coolest.
Sure, yeah.
Especially the great whites. We just think they're the bombest. I mean, the other daughter is actually terrified of the water anyways. And then all of a sudden, of course, Jessica says, well, look, they tagged this one here, right? Like 50 miles off the coast of Panama City where we're going. Look, they got like a 12-footer there. They tagged on there. They pinged on it. And she's like, I'm not going in there. She's like, look. And of course, we joked about it. I said, did you see the one in Nova Scotia, the 17-footer that was 3,500 pounds? They pinged on there. And she goes, oh, no, what? I said, yeah, the big female. She's like, awesome.
Yeah.
So
I did
I get looks like people like, are you freaking nuts? Dude, that's like awesome.
I did the same thing to my daughter. We watched Shark Week when she was young. When she was young, we would sit and watch Shark Week. So, like, she's the first, like, she was in first grade talking about Shark Week, and the kids are like, what? So that's just how it was. She was watching Shark Week before, just the same time she was watching Blue's Clues, pretty much.
Right. So that was one of those things.
So-
I've always been fascinated by
Same
sharks.
with-
I mean,
yeah.
again, I was 10 years old when Jaws came out. We
Sure.
saw it at the theater.
Sure.
Again, my
Yeah,
parents
sup-
just dropped off. I'll go ahead and go to see the movie. How many thinking nowadays? You go, what the hell are they thinking? I mean, parents
Oh,
now,
yeah.
have
Yeah,
freedom
you
to
can't do that.
shit like
Dude, I got dropped off at the Palace to go to a AC/DC concert. I was like 13. Me and my buddy, we just got dropped off to go to a AC/DC concert. That's how I met Dennis Rodman, actually. It's like, here you go. Just here. I'll pick you up in a few hours. Whoa, what? Okay. Here's some money, just to make sure. Well, I got money. Well, here's a couple extra bucks.
Yeah. So we got everything on. And again, obviously, we got Thanksgiving coming up here. So people, again, give thanks and that. The coolest story of the week on there, believe it or not, was you're seeing Blake Corum got his name and likeness money on there. So
Oh.
what did he use that? He used that to buy 100 needed families turkeys
Good.
and delivered them.
Good. Good
I said-
for him.
Yeah. I said that was the coolest story of the week in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, nice seeing that, put him back under. He's like, hey, I got this little bit of money and I'm gonna put it to good use.
Well, and you're gonna have a few of those outliers that do stuff like that. Unfortunately, we have to absorb those good ones because you're not gonna see a lot of them. A lot of these cats are gonna do stupid shit with their money because they just don't know how to handle it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If someone said we'll pay you, umpteen $1 million or $5 million or $2 million or whatever it is, just to use your name and likeness for something, I'd be like, I would do it, but I wouldn't know what the fuck to do with that money.
Right.
Because I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? I own 2 houses. I've been through this shit before. You know what I'm saying? I've sold a home already, and I've had to deal with, crap cars and putting kids through college and I've been through it, but and I've had to manage my money, but I don't know how I would act with that kind of money. I don't know if you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I would just keep going along the way I normally am and just not work, or maybe would I get into ventures? Would I invest? Would I blow my money? Would I buy dumb shit? I'm sure I would buy some dumb shit.
Right.
I mean, I have a habit of buying dumb shit when I get my profit sharing check. It's like, oh, I got money here that I didn't expect to have. This is disposable income, right? We all have some quote unquote disposable income we buy dumb shit with. Don't tell me none of you out there don't have some autographed memorabilia your wife don't fucking know about. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You don't have that autographed Sparty helmet or some shit in your thing that you got or whatever that your wife don't know about. Doesn't, or at least doesn't know what you spent on it.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
you make sure you keep that money separate.
Yeah. So we all spend our money on, so I can't, so I would have to assume that if I ran into $1 million via lotto or name and likeness, I would probably buy something stupid. There had to be something dumb, right?
Oh, yeah.
Whether you go too far on a vehicle,
Oh, yeah.
you could have bought a $60,000, but you bought the fucking $120,000 one,
I'm not going to buy a damn yacht and keep it docked in freaking Milwaukee like Latrell
Right.
Sprewell.
Yeah, right.
Dude, you've got a 75-foot yacht and it's in Milwaukee. What the
What are you
it's
doing?
Milwaukee.
You're right.
You can't use it in the wintertime. Why? Because the lake is frozen.
Yes.
Except for, I got down there in Miami there. Okay, I can see that. But Milwaukee? Dude, no wonder you went broke.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it would probably just be cheaper to just move it back and forth, right? If you like the Great Lakes area and you want to be
You're
out
not
there.
taking it out yourself. You got to have a crew and a captain so they
Sure.
can take it, go up the whole intercoastal,
Yeah.
up to the St. Lawrence Seaway, and then come through, and there you are going into the Great Lakes, and then in Chicago for the summertime.
All right.
Around it. But Milwaukee, really?
Yeah, I mean,
I've been to Milwaukee.
right.
The Summerfest is great, but it's not a place I want to hang out for a regular basis on.
Yeah, you wouldn't think for that kind of dollar you'd do that, right? Because, like you said, you're spending a lot of money to do that.
Right.
And it's not like you're doing it in some kind of paradise palatial,
Right.
like
It's not even like,
beautiful.
oh yeah, I got it there in the basically the marina there in Grand Haven or even Traverse City or something like that. It's Milwaukee.
All right.
Dude, go down to Chicago at least, take it out.
Right.
'Cause it's still Chicago.
Yeah, at least you still got Chicago, sure.
So.
I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Speaking of Chicago, that's the Lions draw this week.
Yes. And the rumors are The Bears have already told Matt Nagy, win or lose, you're fired after the game.
Happy Thanksgiving. You're gone.
You're gone.
We're going to call it thanks taking because we're going to take your job away from
Right.
you. He denied all that, of course.
Of course he is.
So I would assume that this is a Wayne Fonts situation. So, like, if anybody knows from back in the day, Wayne Fonts is always on the hot seat. And then all of a sudden, the Lions would play good for like 3 or 4 straight games and save his ass for that season or whatever. And
because he was the big buck.
right. So to me, I feel like that's what this is. The difference is I don't see this team running through a wall for him.
No.
Thusly, he'll be gone.
Right.
It won't be like where the Lions, they really liked Wayne Fonts. And so they would always kind of come through to save his ass. Probably felt like 3 or 4 years in a row. I don't think it was, but it sure felt like that.
Yeah, it did.
And so I just don't see that happening in this scenario. And yeah, I mean, unless they happen to play, I mean, they are playing Detroit, and they are, I mean, Detroit is horrid. They're just horrid. And as bad as Chicago is, if they rally behind this stuff and blow out a horrid team, I mean, it doesn't really say anything as far as I'm concerned, but maybe it keeps him around for, I mean, what are you doing by letting him go now? No. I mean, what are you gaining? Like, now you got to have an interim in there, and then you do all that, and then what if you start winning games? At this point, you don't want to win too many more games. You're going to end up with what? The 12th pick?
Yeah. Well, the Bears are terrible anyways on it, but like, yeah, I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs. They're terrible. I mean, their best defensive player is gone for the year.
So to me, it's like, so they win. I just don't see the point of getting rid of them. They're not, whatever they owe him, they're going to end up paying whatever.
Right.
So why not just let them sit there and be a punching bag for the rest of the year?
Yeah.
What's the point of bringing in an interim, especially if, like I said, you know, how that works sometimes. They win a couple of games they probably shouldn't just because addition by subtraction or whatever.
Yeah,
and that may even happen, but I don't know. Whatever. I don't know. I don't see the point because you can't put anybody else in it unless your next guy is in house.
Oh no, there's nobody there on that team.
Okay then. Okay. Well then, you know.
But I mean, also too with that is with that, and again, it doesn't do with them any help. But again, with the Lions on there too, it's like, are they going to keep Campbell? Because he's terrible.
Dude, what? I mean, I got to play the tape
back. I wanted
back.
to root for him. I did. I like the passion, but he's terrible.
This is everything that is happening is it's a Scrappy Damas moment right here. I gave you a Scrappy Damas Thanksgiving. Everything I've said about that fucking clown from the day they hired him has absolutely been 100% true. Even down to, what did I say? They gave everything they had in that game.
Yeah. Again. And they still don't. I mean,
they got nothing, dude. They're desperate. They're pathetic.
I mean, it is. It's. I mean, their best bet is, and they take away the play calling away from Anthony Lynn. They'd be better off than Dan Campbell and give Anthony Lynn the damn head coaching job.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, man. Dude, they can't hire anybody. I can't remember who it was. There's somebody that would be glad and happy to buy the Lions right about now. I can't remember who they were talking about on the radio. And
Bezos or on there. The Lions are good. I mean, the Ford family's not good because
that's what I'm saying.
They're making money.
That's what I'm saying. I go, that'll never happen. God, I'm just glad someone's interested in buying, but they're not
selling the team.
And until that happens, this is the shit we're gonna deal with.
Right, because first of all, they're not gonna sell the team. Why? Because they bought the team for $6 million, and what's the value now?
Yeah.
The capital gains is gonna take half of what you make on this.
Right. That's why they just keep handing it down.
Right. I mean, now they handed it down before she died. Otherwise, you've got the whole estate tax.
Yeah.
Now it's now it's Sheila. But yeah, I mean, you look at the game. the play calling is terrible. I mean, first of all, is Boyle? Yeah, I would have been better off taking Blau. At least he could throw the ball downfield. We've seen that.
I don't know what they think they're doing with this roster.
We're wasting the damn career of DeAndre Swift already now.
Well, that's what. Well, no, we haven't yet, because you can have a bad year or two if you're on the right track. But yes, they're doing exactly what they've done with every other quality player they've ever bumped into by accident.
Right.
Because don't fucking get it twisted. They weren't some masterminds that found these cats. They
lucked into it.
They've always just bumped into shit. And then when they do, they shit the bed. They waste them, and they put them in a position where they retire early or they demand out. One or the other. And the only one that got let go, was Stafford. Everybody else, they said, well, no, you play with us or you retire. And they effing retire early.
Right.
And that is disgusting. And the fact that the NFL won't step in and do something about it pisses me off.
Right.
Because that right there, the fact that that's been going on for 3 decades plus, and the league allows it to happen, it is pretty disgusting, in my opinion. They step in on other shit, but they ain't got nothing to say about that. Yeah. Come on, man. And nationally, it's a joke. Everybody wants the damn Thanksgiving Day pulled.
Right.
It's like, well, you wouldn't even have these games if it weren't for the Lions, you dum-dums.
Right. The Lions were the only team that basically wanted to play on Thanksgiving. Nobody wanted to play on Thanksgiving.
Right.
And then Dallas said, hey, we'll play the later game on Thanksgiving. So we're basically, essentially, when Dallas came out, it was till like the last 10 years ago, it was for 50 years, it was Detroit and Dallas, and nobody wanted any part of it. Oh, right. Wow, we could be the national game on it. We want it. Well, fuck you.
All right. Right.
Where were you before?
Yeah.
You know what? Kiss my ass. You know what? We're still got the big three, and we still put a lot of advertising dollars on the NFL. So basically, as I think Ford finally said is, you want it? You want to pull the game? Fine. We're pulling the advertising. Us, General Motors, and Chrysler are going to pull our advertising dollars. And what are you going to do then, you cocksuckers?
All right.
All right, you can have the game.
All right.
Yeah, goddamn right, we're going to have our game.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's like, at this point, we're not putting out a product that's worthy of a Monday of these other games. I get all that, but it's just, you can't. Yeah, my whole thing is that one's got to stay. But I guess the point is, it's never going to change until that team is sold, and this is what you're going to get. And this is exactly what this is what I said. We can run the damn tape back. I'm almost to the point where, if it weren't for the fact that we have to actually have content in the show, I'd be like, yeah, I know, I said that a million times already. Let's move on to the next subject.
Well, yeah,
because it is so effing redundant. But it's almost hard to stomach.
But there is good news coming in 2023.
What's that?
The USFL. Michigan Panthers are coming back, baby. Hey, it was our only pro day. It was our first pro championship under outdoor football.
And then when that struggles, the XFL will reignite in 2024, and then we'll just have 2 more failed leagues.
But I saw that. I'm like, they brought the colors, the logo, and all that because, dude, I was there. I was there for the playoff game when we beat Oakland on there. I stormed the field. I helped tear down the goalpost. Yeah, statute of limitations expired, so you can't give me a
right.
It's only a misdemeanor, so kiss my ass.
Yeah, that's long.
I was one of 67,000 people that stormed the field because, damn it, we were never going to see it with the Lions.
That is a fact.
And that team probably would have beat the Lions.
Yeah, yeah.
We had a better quarterback than the Lions had until Stafford.
Especially this Lions team right now. And this incarnation is just brutal to watch. So I get why people aren't going to be excited. That's why they put it on in the morning. They put it on the early game.
I'm going to be doing I'll get my prep going on there. And then we go with my sister. She's hosting Thanksgiving. So we'll get there about 3:30 right as the game was over. And, we'll eat during the Dallas game. In the second half, I'll be in a food coma.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Dallas game's not going to be anything great either because CeeDee Lamb's out, Cooper's out, and you're facing the Raiders. It's like, oh, that's a shit game too.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the late game is what New Orleans and
New Orleans got a bunch of cats out too.
Yeah, Kamara's out again, so it's like it's not even a great game. Yeah, the late game is Buffalo and New Orleans.
And Buffalo's been playing like ass, and New Orleans is
New Orleans.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. They gave they re-upped on Taysom Hill. That's great.
They paid him a ton of money too for what he does. It feels like I don't
It's like,
quite get it.
What is the love affair with Taysom Hill by Sean Payton?
I don't know, man. I'm not sure.
He's a gimmick player. He's like, dude, you had a quarterback and you let him go to Carolina, and now he's in Denver with Teddy Two Gloves.
Right.
He can at least got you that stopgap till you drafted the heir apparent.
I feel so bad for Teddy Two Gloves because he's pretty damn good, and he can't latch on anywhere long enough. He's in a new system every other year. It's crazy. How many different systems has that guy played under?
This is the third system in 3 years.
I mean, it's just crazy. So and he's still pretty good considering that that playbook is got to be somewhat limited in a lot of these cases because he just doesn't have the time. And if you look at all the successful teams, you have that coordinator quarterback kind of system that where they've been running it a while and they get better. Those are all the good teams, So. Yeah, I feel kind of bad for him because he doesn't really land anywhere. And he's better than a lot of these. He's better than anybody we got on our team.
Oh, God, yes. We're terrible. And again, you look out there and they got to draft a quarterback. Dude, there's not a quarterback worth taking in the first round this year.
No, they can't draft a quarterback. No, they just get defensive players, man. Defensive players are almost always worth their money, what you pay them, because if you're bad, they're going to be on the field more.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're going to be doing more. So they're going to get more stuff done. They cause turnovers there's just so many things that you can do with them where they're worth the money. There's no big time quarterback out there that's worth it. You can't go get a skilled position player because without a quarterback or an offensive line and all these other things that you are deficient at, they're not going to be able to do shit.
Right.
So unless you're going to get offensive line, defensive line, that's all you're working on right now. And so if you're going to get a top pick, it's going to be a defensive player.
They need to trade out of that pick.
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt. I've been saying that for every year almost.
You got the number one pick on it. Trade out of it, get another first rounder, and then next year you got 3 first rounders. You'll have 3. If you move down, you could probably get a first and a second this year and a first next year.
The problem is who wants this year's number 1 pick?
Somebody's going to be stupid enough to do it.
I mean, to me, that reeks of desperation. It's not about stupid because I don't think anybody's in the league is that dumb to think that this year coming up that there's anybody worth paying that kind of money unless you're a team that's I don't know. It's still it's going to be a big. They're not going to ask. You're not going to get.
The good thing now is that with the new salary cap, it's basically is your rookies are slotted. This is what you're making, so you don't get like the Stafford contract when it came out, where we're on the hook for $50 million right off the bat.
Right.
You're not seeing that nowadays. But yeah, there's nobody worth. First of all, I thought it would be Thibodeau, but the way he played against Utah and Oregon played, they got smoked. Yeah. That was bad as the state game.
Yeah.
That was 35 nothing at the first half on that one. Yeah. Utah took them out to the woodshed and beat the snot out of them. So we'll look at that on there. But yeah, on there. Also too is our new hero, Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew.
Yes.
Channeling his inner bad boy vibes.
So this is the deal with that. And we were talking about a little bit as we were getting ready here to go on the air. I just think the league shit the bed on this one, and I'm gonna give you this guy's take. And I was kind of the same thing with Dan Patrick, right? That guy is fucking brilliant when it comes to this job and doing his thing, and he's super smart and his takes are usually on point. And he was absolutely right with what the league was gonna do. He hit that right on the head as far as the suspensions go. But y'all shit the bed because if you look back, the precedent for a closed fist to somebody's face, just throwing a punch.
Right.
The precedent is 2 to 3 games. I don't care who you are. If the precedent is 2 to 3 games, then it's 2 to 3 games. Okay? And then I get that Isaiah went nuts, he got punched in the eye.
Yeah.
He saw his own blood, and y'all didn't do shit.
Right.
So he was pissed. So I get his escalation deserves a 1 game, deserves a suspension. There has to be something because he had to. They couldn't. At some point, you got to pump the brakes, dude. You didn't need to come running all the way the F back and all that other crazy stuff.
Multiple times.
Right. So give him a game. Give LeBron 2 and be done with it. It's right. The guy who caused all of this got 2 games. The guy that reacted gets a game because he overreacted.
Right.
That is fair. That's fair.
Right.
Giving the guy who overreacted 2 games while the guy who started the whole thing got 1. Now, not only did he do what he did, but he's the reason why this guy went ham.
Yeah.
It's not like this guy has a history of just going stupid for no reason. He got punched in the face.
Right.
So let's be real about it.
Yeah,
and so
punch in the face, 8 stitches, and
Right.
and then he goes, and then all the national guys are like, well, he didn't mean to punch him. Oh, bullshit.
Watch the replay.
Yeah.
I don't care how many times you watch that replay. If you can look me in the eye and say he didn't mean to hit him. No, he didn't mean to bust his eye open.
But he meant every part of
He
part
absolutely
of
meant to pop him, yeah.
because he was bent out of shape because
Right.
Beef Stew was playing hard and basically would try to get a rebound out of free throw.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell are you doing that for? And that's when he kind of like looked at him like, what the fuck, dude?
Right.
And he popped the one. And it's like, you know what? And then when then Isaiah basically goes nuts and basically he's like, I don't want, he didn't
Yeah.
want any
Oh,
part
yeah.
of it.
Well, we
and
know.
him and AD didn't want any part of him because
yeah.
they know they would have got their ass handed to him.
Well, they're all soft, man.
Yes, they're totally soft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those guys are soft. They're like soccer players. Just go blow in their ear.
And then Cade's trying everything he can to make sure this guy doesn't get a 25-game suspension. Man, don't kill the man
Right.
because you're gone for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. No
And
shit.
we're already short-handed at the center anyway. So with that. But yeah, I mean, it's like, and again, these national guys are like, I'm going, you know what, freaking LeBron. And again, I'm thinking the NBA is like, well, we really don't want it, but it's LeBron, but we got to give him at least 1 game because everybody's going to go freaking nuts if we give him nothing.
Right. And then, but see, you didn't even think about it. If you're going to give a hand of suspension down to Isaiah, which I'm fine with, let me make that really clear before you get all up on me in the text and shit. He should have gotten a game. But to have the victim get more of a punishment than the perpetrator, it just doesn't make any sense. I don't care what his reaction was, unless he actually grabbed him and started beating him down. And then even then, it's almost like, okay, we'll give them both the same and just be done. And give them both 3 games.
Freaking Beard got popped and almost knocked the bleep out, and they still didn't give Robert Parrish any suspension.
Right.
Of course, Lambeer kind of looked up like, they gave him the foul, right?
Yeah.
Because he totally instigated and shit. They gave him the foul, right? All right.
But it's like, so I just think they got it wrong. They shit the bed, and they play again on Sunday. What the hell were you thinking? What the hell were you thinking? They're playing again on Sunday.
Yeah.
This is a fresh wound. You know you got them in 4 days. Why in the hell would you do that? Why would you? Now they're going to be fresh off the suspensions, pissed.
Yeah.
That they got to see each other. Now Detroit's got to go all the way out to LA.
That's where you need to just bring somebody up from the G League and tell them, hard foul them. When LeBron goes up there, I want you to clothesline him. So what? You're a G League guy on there anyway. So
What's going to happen is this game is going to be akin to, it's going to be as close to like, 04 Pistons as you're going to see.
Yes.
Because they're just going to be putting it on them. It's going to be as close to 90s basketball as you can get in this era. And I think there's going to be some receipts delivered.
Oh yeah.
I just believe there'll be some receipts delivered. So you guys,
and Lakers ain't gonna do anything about it because they're freaking soft.
I know. And so yeah, dude, it's just so they just like I said, had the suspensions been flipped the other way, then you might have been able to put the fire out before Sunday.
Yes.
But not doing it like this. Not doing it like this. The Pistons are going to go at him so hard. and the crowd's going to be loud and pissy, and the whistle's going to blow early, and you could end up with another scrum on your hands, and it's going to make for ugly basketball, man. It's not a good look, man. I just believe they really, and it's not me being a Pistons homer and all that. I mean, maybe a little bit, but I think it's more of just being a guy that's like, hey, how do you penalize the victim more than the perpetrator, regardless of how the victim reacted? I'll never get that. That'll never make sense to me. So it's more that I think than anything else. But so we'll see how that plays out. But that's intriguing. It gives you a little something to a little meat on that game, because I mean, to be quite frank, I watched the Lakers and the Knicks like the following night when LeBron served his suspension.
Yeah.
That team is hot fucking garbage.
Oh, they're terrible.
Without Westbrook, they ain't got nothing.
No. That team is basically...
It's Westbrook.
That's it. They're geriatric on... That's what I says is during the pregame on there, I got in a Twitter argument because some clown basically says Anthony Davis is a better power forward than Timmy Duncan. And I'm like, you're freaking smoking serious big bowl of crack.
Yeah, it's just someone that just doesn't watch basketball or didn't see that guy in his prime, or whatever. And really, you didn't even have to see him in his prime. Even in his later years, I would still say he's better.
Yeah.
So it's just someone that doesn't pay any attention. He's
a Laker homer.
Or they're trolling. But I got news for you. I watched the Laker game against the Knicks, and I think that whole soft kind of scenario, I think it's a league-wide thing. I think everybody knows it because the Knicks did the same shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
plus you got a coach with Thibs, man. He's going to coach these guys, play some defense, and basically, hammer them.
Yep. And so at one point I can't remember who it was so close to Westbrook that when Westbrook tried to take a drive, he put his face into my man's shoulder and busted his lip and whined for a foul that never came.
Right.
And so they're
the refs aren't calling. It's like we're not giving you these flop fouls and all this BS. I mean, look at Harden this year too. He's not getting all the calls that he used to.
Yep. So the officials have gotten. They're not allowing the hand check like it was before, but they're just not allowing the offensive player to initiate contact and then draw the foul.
Right.
So, and that's what happened with Westbrook, and that's what he doesn't understand is he's going to drive. You initiated that contact. You drove the ball. You hit him with your face, essentially, driving into him when he's established position. So they're not going to let you get that foul anymore. If you want to run into somebody and bump off them and then shoot up and do an and one, that ain't happening no more. It just isn't happening. They put a stop to all that. So it's being officiated different for sure, and that's part of an NBA kind of mandate to make this game, make defense relevant, I guess.
Yeah, get back to a little bit on there, not quite back to like the late 80s.
When we're having 140-point games, I think people are tripping out because it's like, okay, if no one even guards you, you could just shoot 27-footers all day.
Yes.
Because these guys can hit them. So it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, and then of course we got Golden State just keeps trucking along. Them and Phoenix starts out 1-4. Next thing you know, they're 13 in a row. I mean, dude, you want a Golden State back? They're back, baby.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing again when Klay Thompson gets back in game shape and that probably like mid-March, dude, you're not gonna want any part of Golden State.
No.
Because you are getting serious contribution now out of Wiggins and also Jordan Poole now.
Sure.
That just makes them deeper.
Yep.
They got depth they haven't had in a couple years.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Is Clay even back yet?
He is.
I heard he's practicing.
He's practicing. He's cleared on there, so he'll be back probably, maybe by Christmas, maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he gets his full game legs on that, dude.
All right.
The way, especially Curry's playing.
Yeah.
Poole's now 8 point. He's averaging 8 points more than he was last year, and that. So he's definitely stepped up his game in that. But yeah, you get Clay and everybody back, dude. Golden State's like, okay, guess what? Game on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, the NBA is pretty interesting early on for the, it's nothing's real. Nothing's like set in stone yet. There's still, it's still early in the season. So you're going to see improvements from some teams and other, water will find its level, so to speak. But, there's been a few things, worth kind of keeping your eye on. But we do this. We don't really get into the NBA till Christmas. That's when it really
that's when it happens there and everything with that.
And if Clay's back by then and that time, like you said, that's going to be some pretty exciting basketball going on there.
Yeah, Lakers are losing again tonight by they're already down by it's just almost to the fourth. They're down by 8 to Indiana.
Yeah, they're just terrible.
They play no defense.
Yeah,
they are the worst defensive team in the NBA.
Yeah, they're just terrible. So. I don't know. I guess I don't know if LeBron's just on cruise control, and then the other guys
right now they're number 9. They're not in the play. They're out of the playoffs.
Oh yeah. I don't think they'll make it.
No, they may not again. They'll probably not play-in scenario with 7 through 10 might do it, but the way they're playing on there, they may get out of that. I mean, if they're not careful, they may get that 11th spot and out.
Right.
And again, they have no depth, no time. They're old, and it's
they can't stay healthy. They have no depth. It's just they don't even really have a squad. They just have a bunch of guys. It's like if you had AD, LeBron, Carmelo, and Westbrook all in their prime somehow, which
10 years ago would have been great.
Yeah, but you can't. That's not going to happen. You couldn't get all those people in their prime at the same time. You couldn't. I mean, LeBron in his prime. I mean, AD wouldn't even have been in the league yet, probably.
Right. Especially when they traded
Same
all
with
the guys.
Melo.
They traded all the guys they got on there to Washington, and Washington's got a nice young core.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. It's just whatever. So, unfortunately, Laker fans, if you it's not going to be a fun season, I don't think, for you if you have high expectations.
We saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, we've been talking about this. We talked about it last year.
We totally saw that coming when they made all the sign. Like, what the hell are they doing?
I mean, even in the bubble, the conversation that we were having here was that they're lucky they were in the bubble. Right. They were lucky they had that time off and that they were able to come back healthy, all rested up and get into the bubble like they did and win when they did, because that was it. And it's going to be a decline from there, and that's exactly what's happened. I mean, so we've had that conversation, you guys know, and it's one of those things. You have a bigger window in the NBA than in the NFL, but you only have like so many years with these guys, and it's done. And you got to know that when you're at the tail end of LeBron's career. And you're trying to kind of piece these things together. Same thing with Melo was sitting at home, wasn't even on a squad till last minute.
Yeah.
And so, like, you got to know that these guys can't take up a lot of your salary cap. They can't, you can't. They got to have manageable contracts. They can't be the primary focus of what you do. You got to have something else going on, and I don't know. It just feels like you're looking at all these guys like you said. You're thinking of them in their prime, and it's like, no, you can't build a team now based on what they all did before.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can have a guy that you're still paying.
You can't be having multiple guys on your team that basically were drafted in 2003.
With
Carmelo and LeBron. I mean, dudes.
You
have no youth.
Yeah, none.
That's not on there. Was he also Rams settled their loss, or the Rams and the NFL settled a lawsuit with St. Louis for $790 million.
Wow.
And the lawyers get a third of that.
Jeez Louise.
And the people are all in St. Louis are all still pissed off because they're like, what the hell is this about? This doesn't help us, doesn't get us a team. And that dude, again, they should have told him, we want Jacksonville to relocate to St. Louis because nobody in Jacksonville cares about that damn team. Jacksonville's a terrible city for a pro team.
Yeah.
Remember, they were the worst city to ever host a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They had to use cruise ships because they didn't have any hotels there.
Yeah, that is rough. That is rough. All right. Well, we got college football to get into. Of course, we're going to get into our rivalry week.
We got rivalry week this on there. We'll get into a little bit of our. We'll obviously get pick'ems. We got fantasy moment on there as well. So we'll take a quick break here. Go grab a fresh beverage. Relax. Come on back. I got my second Manhattan going down.
Nice.
It's really nice here. And we'll be back on the flip side. We are DSR2 Studio 57 Radio.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, Scrappy here to tell you about That Radio Show. Hang with me as I break down the world of entertainment with great guests, celebrity interviews, awesome games with wonderful prizes. Also, we've got the biggest library of underground hip-hop of any station on the net. You mix in a little stand-up comedy and a text line so your voice can be heard, and you got a pretty good little show. But add listener-controlled programming? Yeah, you heard me. Listener-controlled programming, where you, the listener, can decide what makes it on the air, and now you've got the greatest show ever created. So join my show, your show, our show, the people's show, That Radio Show, each and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, only here on Studio 57 Radio.
Hey everybody, this is your boy Big D, here to tell you about Mark for Life Tattoos. Guys, this place is the cleanest, most laid-back studio in Metro Detroit, and the artists are top-notch. And if you're like me from the D, you need to stop in on Fridays for that D-Day and get your old English D for only $20. Not interested in tattoos? Mark for Life does body piercings. Mark for Life is located at 22533 Van Dyke in Warren, and the guys are there 7 days a week from noon to 9. So give them a call at 757-2222. That's 586-757-2222. Tell them Studio 57 sent you and get 20% off. So what are you waiting for? Call them now.
Hey everybody, Smokey here to tell you about Allstate. With winter fast approaching, the most important thing between you and the road is your tires. So don't put your safety in just anybody's hands. Go to Allstate Tire. With new and quality used tires available, you can trust Allstate Tire for all your tire needs. You can visit them at 14208 9 Mile Road in Warren, or give them a call at 586-779-8759. Allstate Tire, your source for quality new and used tires.
What's happening, everybody? Scrappy here to tell you about Love and Life Club. Love and Life Club is a social networking club that's located at 19960 James Cousins. That's the Lodge Service Drive between 7 and 8 Mile Road in the D. You need to stop in for $5 Fridays for great music, food, and drinks. I personally recommend the chicken. Love and Life Club is also available for rental for bachelor parties, wedding receptions, or any party for that matter. For more information, log on to www.loveandlifeclub.com. That's loveandlifeclub.com, or call D at 313-999-2824. That's 313-999-2824. That's Love and Life Club. If you're loving life, you need to be in the club.
Taking over this broadcast for the Ultimate Underground.
Studio 57 Radio Original. You know, when you hear that sound, you're gonna have a good time, because that's the sound of the Ultimate Underground live concert webcast from the Detroit area. We go to the most famous, or should I say infamous, venues in the D, and bring the underground music scene from the streets to your computer like nobody else can. There's only one catch. You never know when and where the Ultimate Underground is going to take over a broadcast. So you need to stay tuned to Studio 57 Radio all day, every day for clues on when and where the next Ultimate Underground may happen. Now, there's no other station on the net that's going to give you this live webcast of some of the hottest artists in the D. That's the Ultimate Underground live on your home for hip-hop, rock and metal, Studio 57 Radio, baby.
Goodbye.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets.
Studio 57 is a 32-track digital recording studio that utilizes
Cool Edit, Logic Pro, Shure, AKG, Sennheiser, Yamaha, Korg, Mackie, Boss, Ibanez, Fender, Fruity Loops, and many, many more to make your music pop.
Experienced and friendly engineers make Studio 57 feel like you're home away from home. With beat creation, mixing, mastering, digital media conversion, and DJs for any event, Studio 57 Records is your one-stop shop for all your music entertainment needs. We have online bill pay and flexible payment schedules. That makes Studio 57 the place to be. For more information, visit Studio57records.com. That's www.studio57records.com, or call us at 586-420-3390. That's 586-420-3390, or log on to Studio57records.com. And just remember one thing, baby.
You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. You get what you want, cause we got what you need. Studio 57, serving streets of the D. Recording, mixing, mastering, or great beats. We do what we do to keep you hot on the streets. Party people, this is the original Doc Ice, and you are definitely listening to Studio 57 Radio. And if Studio 57 Radio isn't on, then your radio ain't really on. Check that.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip-hop, rap, and R&B. Studio 57 Radio.
We are back What am I even saying? I don't know. But we're back for more DSR2. I hope you guys are ready for hour 2. Plenty to get into, more to break down. Let's have some fun. Let's be silly. I think we're already there, but that's all right. Let's keep doing it. Let's do hour 2 of DSR2. I am Scrappy, and here is Johnny the Moose.
Hey, we're back here for another edition of DSR2, the second hour of our Thanksgiving show. So I said is light up a cigar if you can and smoke it on there.
Yep, smoke if you got 'em.
An adult cocktail. I think I'm going to just top this off for the second hour so I don't interrupt.
Little vodka.
So yeah, we're doing Manhattans tonight on there as well. And again, we're going to get into some sports here. So yeah, we got some NFL we'll get into on there. We've also got, of course, college football going. It is, as they say, rivalry week.
Yes.
So we'll get into that. Some of the big matchups there. We'll talk about that as well. And of course, we'll have Moose's fantasy moment as the fantasy season winds down. And of course, pickups. If you listened to me last week, you actually did pretty good. If you listen to Scrappy, it was like, okay, you actually made enough that you can put juice on that, so you're doing okay. So
It's just been one of those years, Moose, for the most part. I think you had a pretty good week this week or last week. I had a pretty good week a few weeks ago, but for the most part, we've pretty much crapped the bed all year.
God, we've been terrible.
It's just been so bad. It's hard. There's been a lot of upsets, it feels like. And college has got them going on too. So we'll get into some NCAA here. Yeah. And Moose, really, what's your take on the rankings now that they're out? I mean, that's, I guess, where we should probably start.
I would say is my idea of the rankings right now on there are pretty much exactly where I expected them to be. I'm kind of surprised, really, about...
Well, the Cincinnati at 3 thing, now...
They've played nobody. I mean, their best win is beating Notre Dame. How is Notre Dame number 5? Because
they've made it really hard for anybody to leapfrog them by doing that. Don't you? Or am I just tripping? Because how at this point, unless they lose,
Cincinnati's going to be in, and they're going to be like the Oklahoma, Michigan State, get in there and get smoked.
They'll be the first non-power conference team to get in. Since they did this. Yeah, that's what I feel like. They're just going to go in and get smoked. But it does open the door for...
expansion.
Yes. Well, we already know the door for that's been open as far as I'm concerned. We've talked about this too much for too long. And it's absolutely going to happen. It's just they got to get this ESPN contract done. There's no other way. So it's just a matter of time, when. It's not a matter of if. So that's definitely going to happen. I think it's going to be 12, to be honest. I think they're just going to make the leap. They're like not going to make the mistake of even pussyfooting around with another stupid contract that's got them locked into something they're not happy with.
Right.
And so I think they'll just jump the gun, and it'll be 8 to 12 teams. But what this does is it opens up the door really for a team like Michigan, who might not have necessarily I don't know. I just don't think Michigan would have necessarily been in this scenario, having lost the Michigan State game. But now they're in a power position for that.
Yes.
And as far as if they can come up with one crucial win, I think that's going to pretty much put them in.
Yeah, because they
control
control their own destiny. If they win, they get to Indianapolis for the first time, and I don't see them losing. Whoever wins this game is not going to lose to either Iowa or Wisconsin in the Indianapolis.
Yeah, I don't see that either. So
with that, and it depends on where they get ranked in the playoff rankings on there. If they don't get, whoever gets stuck at number 4 plays Georgia right off the bat, and they're going to get smoked.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so I think as their chances.
Well, if Michigan runs the table, do they have a chance
If Michigan
to
beats Ohio
leapfrog
State,
and
they'll
bump
leapfrog Cincinnati. If Michigan does pull the upset on there,
yeah, which I don't think they will, but we'll
I
get
don't
into
either.
that either.
I don't either on this one with it. I don't think they're going to get blown out. I think they'll.
Right.
I don't even know if they'll cover, but it's going to be at least close enough on there where you can at least competitive wise.
All right.
I think it's going to be that 10 to 14 point they lose by, but again, stranger things will happen. I mean, this
Sure.
team definitely shows a little bit more grit than previous teams from Michigan have.
Right.
I mean, being, with the Nebraska win, come back and win that one. The comeback win against Penn State. At Penn State and at Nebraska are nice wins. Going into Wisconsin and freaking taking them to the house was a good win.
Sure.
Especially now the way Nebraska is kind of right the season in that.
Well, and this to me is the thing. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this, and I got into this conversation with a buddy of mine about the Michigan State game, where he got frustrated with the Michigan loss because it feels like Michigan State always gets up for Michigan, and Michigan doesn't do the same for State. And I said that's because Michigan State looks at Michigan as their championship.
Right.
Michigan doesn't look at Michigan State that way, so they don't get up for them. Their championship is Ohio State.
Right.
And they get up for them. So that's what you're going to be relying on to make this game close, is that they got to get up for Ohio State. And like you said, crazier stuff's happen. And if there's ever
a year for this to happen, this is the year.
It feels like it, does it not?
And again,
now, this is Homer talk, because there's no way Michigan, when we get, there's no way Michigan wins that game, in my opinion. Like you said, I think it's probably a 2-touchdown game. But if they don't get embarrassed, they stay in it late, anything could happen.
Right.
And that's what bodes well for them. If you're watching this game and it's more of a low-scoring game and they're in it tight later in the game, then upsets are made that way.
If Ohio State doesn't jump out to a big lead and they're in a dogfight, this could be an upset special. Because Ohio State struggles in the red zone too, just like Michigan does.
Right.
The one thing is on it, so we'll see what happens there.
But Ohio State, man, they've
got 3 receivers on there that if they went pro tomorrow, they'd be first and second round picks.
That's what
you got. 3 NFL receivers on that team. You've got a freshman quarterback that's coming into his own. Dude, this guy is the real deal here.
Yep.
The only thing is their defense is very suspect. So, but if the Michigan can keep to their guns and run the ball and stick to the game plan and limit Ohio State to the number of possessions, then they have a shot. Try to get into this, like State basically screwed the pooch on and started like, oh, we can't run it. We're going to go right off the bat. You played right in Ohio State's hands, and of course Michigan State has the worst pass defense in all of NCAA football. They probably have the worst pass defense I've seen in years.
Well, it's one of those things too, and they want to pay this coach Saban money. He's not even $500.
No.
You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, man.
Dude, you better sign that contract now, because if I'm the the president, will be thinking maybe we're going to just hold on.
I mean, we've been pretty staunch about our disdain for Harbaugh's handling of Michigan. But I'm not like looking at Michigan State and going, oh, that guy's worth paying $10 million.
No.
I'm not, and I just won't. Not especially after a couple of games this year.
Some
of the boneheads.
This is nowhere near the 97 team. That was the best Michigan team I've ever seen on there.
Right.
But certain things on there I do like about this team more than that 97 team on there. I like the fact is I like the defensive front, especially the defensive ends more on this. Granted, Glenn Steele was a beast in it, but I do like the fact that they got 2. They've got Hutchinson and Ojibwe are basically stud defensive ends that will be playing on Sundays with that. So on there. So I definitely like that aspect better on there. And again, they don't have the secondary that the 97 team did. Right. They don't have the linebacking core that the 97 team had on there.
Right.
They don't have the offensive line that the 97 team on there. Quarterback-wise, Cade versus Brian Greasy. I would go Greasy a little bit because I think he's got a little bit stronger arm. But I think Cade, the fact is I like his demeanor. I like his moxie. The kid doesn't get rattled. He doesn't make mistakes on there in aspect. I like the running game better on this team than the 97 team. But the receiver-wise, the 97 team is way better on that. On it. And again, people say, well, you won a half championship. Dude, that 97 team would have took Nebraska out to the fucking woodshed.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that whole stupid thing again because...
but that Ohio State team is, defensive-wise, they are suspect, but the offensive-wise is they are freaking scary.
And that's what you're going to have to contend with. And that's why I was having the same conversation with a couple of guys that, yes, if they don't dominate the ball, they're going to lose this game. It's that simple. So they've got to limit Ohio State's possessions. They need to long, drawn-out, sustained drives. I don't want to see a single snap outside of 5 seconds left on that clock.
Right. Eat that. Take
Just
that.
chew it up. Chew it up.
I was-
Even if your drive gets slowed down and doesn't result in any points and gets stymied, chew
The
up
clock.
the clock.
Yes, I want to see 6 and 7 and 8 minute drives on everything. Again, even if it's a 5 minute drive and you got to punt or kick a field goal, fine. I don't want to see a 3 and out.
Yep. And they
Lead
can't
on-
be quick 3 and outs where you're
No.
throwing 3 passes and you burn 5 seconds off the clock.
Yes.
That shit's retarded. You
I
cannot do that.
Right.
If you do that against Ohio State, you're going to get smoked. You're going to get smoked.
Right.
And that's more than likely going to be what happens towards the end, right? Like the defense is going to be kind of worn down from a long game, and Ohio State's offense is going to be too much, and they're going to spread that sucker out in the end. I feel that's how this game will go. Michigan hopefully will get on them early and keep this thing a game, but I don't expect it to hold. I think when you start getting into the late third quarter. Maybe even just coming.
If it comes down to if it's less than a touchdown by the fourth quarter, then we'll.
Then it's interesting.
Then it'll be. Then
now you're sitting.
Then
on
you
the
might
edge of the couch.
start seeing Ohio State getting a little tighter around the collar. That, but again, it doesn't matter anyways because
It's wishful thinking.
Georgia's winning the whole damn thing.
Well, once again, when you start breaking it down and looking at it, at who's in there and who's done what, and the way Georgia's playing, it doesn't. Yeah, I mean, it's almost kind of a foregone conclusion. But I want to see how all this stuff plays out. It makes for interesting college football here in the closing weeks of the closing week of the season here. So I'm pumped in that respect.
Yes.
Like as a Michigan fan, just being able to be in this opportunity to kind of control your own destiny going forward and having a shot at the playoff is a huge improvement from what we've gotten from this guy and this team. And I'll stick to my guns and say, if they don't get in and they don't cause some damage here, then I'm done with the whole Harbaugh thing.
Yes,
it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, again, I'm not jumping on the Harbaugh. I have not jumped on the Harbaugh bandwagon all season. And again, they lost to State. I better see an Ohio State win.
Oh yeah.
And if they get blown out like State, then I want him fired on Monday morning.
Yep. And get the Nagy treatment.
Yes. Bye.
See ya.
With it. Alabama playing Auburn in the Iron Bowl on that one. Alabama's 9-10. This one, Alabama could be in a dogfight. Auburn's one of those ones on there. They're not super great on there, but they can sneak up on teams on there.
Sure.
Alabama had a hell of a time against Arkansas. They're lucky they won that one.
Yeah, Bama's not the Bama that we're used to seeing. That's a
and
fact.
again, if Bama better be careful because they may get this is a trap game for them.
Sure.
Because then they got to play Georgia in the SEC championship on there.
Right.
And Georgia, I still think Georgia's going to take them to the woodshed. I mean, as good as Bryce Young is on there, that defense of Georgia is freaking outstanding.
I agree in the fact that, but it's one of those. This is one of those things. It's almost like the Michigan-Ohio State thing for me. I can't. This is the only big difference is I can't. When you've got Saban out there, I can't say he's going to get blown out. You know what I'm saying? I just can't say that he's going to get blown out. So that gets into that scary scenario where if they can keep this thing close, if anybody's going to pull up an upset like that, it's Bama.
Right.
But it's, I'm with you. This year, they've not been the Bama that we're used to seeing.
And again, Georgia doesn't have a great offense-wise. Stetson Bennett is not a super great quarterback, but it's just that defense. I mean, again, when they played Florida and they scored 21 points in 3 minutes, that defense was legitimately responsible for 14 of those 21 points.
Sure.
One was a pick six. The other was a basically turnover, so they had a short field, scored again on him. But again, their offense is not very good.
No.
They're opportunistic because the defense is that good.
Yeah.
With that. So
but sometimes that's all you got, right? You need, because we've gone over this 1,000,001 times. No matter how they slant the rules and no matter how the game is played, in the end, when you have all the good teams together, all the top-notch teams, what separates one from the other is how they play that defense. Yes. It's just always been that way.
So, yeah, and then we got Penn State, Michigan State on there. Penn State is only favored by 1. I think Penn State's going to beat Michigan State.
I tend to agree with that, but I think Michigan State's going to get up for this game.
I think Clifford, again, their pass defense is terrible, and Clifford is a pretty good quarterback. And again, Dotson's a really good receiver.
Yeah, oh, no doubt. And they're going to get theirs.
And that defense is pretty decent for Penn State. Trust me. I mean, they kept Ohio State in check, even though they lost, and they were winning the Michigan game until Michigan rallied and had that. Pulled out the win there with 3 minutes to go, and they had that huge 47-yard pass to Al.
Right, yeah. No,
the tight end. So, again, with that one on there, Nebraska playing Iowa on that one. Iowa's had some tough get time here the last couple weeks on there, but, again, Nebraska's beaten nobody, especially ranked, ever.
Yeah, well.
Under Scott Frost. I think Scott Frost might be getting fired after this year.
It's a big thing for me. If your strength of schedule is something, right? Like it's the same thing with the Cincinnati scenario.
Cincinnati played. Their big win was Notre Dame, and Notre Dame is terrible.
All right,
they're the worst one-loss team in NCAA football.
Right. Well, but because they can kind of pad their schedule how they want.
Because they play nobodies.
Right. But see, that doesn't help you, in my opinion. That's why I think that's where strength of schedule comes in. And so this is why they're going to kill all that, right? Because they'll expand this playoff, and then strength of schedule will only matter in seedings, right? If you got 12 teams in there, I mean, I think at that point you're not going to turn this into the March Madness. So that'll be good, I think, sufficient. And at that point, it's just about seeding. So, but the strength of schedule matters, man, because these teams that are beating up on each other, like in the SEC, some of these teams are beating up on each other, and they're going to be better than some of these other teams. Yeah. That's what was going on even with Michigan or with the Big Ten here at the end of the year. Yeah, they all playing each other at the end.
They beat up each other.
Yeah,
right?
they're.
I mean, yeah, we'll see what down there. I mean, this will be the first year Carball's actually ever had a winning record in November.
Then there's that.
I mean, he's not had a winning record in November since Michigan. This is the first year he's had that.
Yeah.
I mean, Maryland was terrible. I mean, they just took their base on it. So we'll on that. And then we got Oklahoma State. I think Oklahoma State's going to beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma plays no defense whatsoever.
Yeah, I was about to say. Yeah.
I mean, they got their ass handed to them by Baylor. Baylor plays Texas Tech. They'll take care of Texas Tech on there. Oregon versus Oregon State on there, the Civil War, as they call it. Oregon we thought was really good, and then they got their ass handed to them by Utah there. So we'll look at that. I mean, Utah is that one team and go, Jesus, man, they played good, really good defense-wise at Utah. And they went out in that with it. So we got Stanford, Notre Dame on there. Again, Stanford's terrible this year. Notre Dame is, again, as I said, is the worst one-loss team I've ever seen because their defense is terrible with it. So it's going to be interesting on there. And again, that's what I said is I love this weekend on there because Friday and Saturday, don't even talk to me. I'm watching college football.
Yeah.
We got Iowa, Nebraska, 1:30 on there. That used to be the old Nebraska-Oklahoma slot on there. Cincinnati plays East Carolina. Ooh, yippee. Arkansas plays Missouri. They'll take care of them. Colorado, Utah. Utah's going to take Colorado out to the woodshed in that. So, and then Saturday, we got the big games on there. Georgia plays Georgia Tech. Ooh, there's a tough one. I know it's an in-state rivalry, but Georgia Tech is just god-awful. They're terrible. So it's like almost like a tune-up game for the SEC. I mean, they had a tune-up game last week because they played the University of Southern Charleston. Now they play Georgia Tech. Seriously, are you going to play anybody? Go to the SEC East other than Kentucky is just terrible.
And that's
Florida. They already fired Dan Mullen. You're fired. You're gone at the end of the year, dude. You couldn't just say. He could just say, "Fuck it, I'll just go home now."
That's why I say that shit matters because that. These
and then Penn State re-upped James. They gave Franklin an extension in there because they were worried about him bolting to every job that came available. Oh, James Franklin's going to go to Florida. James Franklin's going to go to LSU. James Franklin's going to USC. Dude, if I'm in any of these schools, I'm not going after James Franklin. Yeah, he's a great recruiter, but he's a terrible big game coach. He's even worse than Harbaugh.
Yeah. Well, recruiting only goes so far. Yes. Ask what's his name over there, LSU. Is that what I'm thinking of?
Ed Orgeron?
Yeah, Orgeron. He's a great recruiter and a rah guy, but
Yeah, but that only gets you so.
he can't fix nothing. He don't know. If you have an offensive or
I
defensive
would not
problem,
go to coach LSU because they seem to have like buyer's remorse after winning a championship.
Yeah, well,
I
that's
don't
part
know
of
if
it,
I'm
too.
happy with that. I'm like, dude, you just won the championship 2 years ago.
I know that is stupid, but that's a whole.
They
other
did the
thing.
same thing, and Nick Saban's like, when he had that one net, and the next year they loses like in the Peach Bowl, and they got their ass handed. It was like, oh, great, and all right, I'm going to Miami now. Screw it. And then he goes to Dolphins. He's like, screw this NFL stuff, man. These cats don't listen to me.
No,
I'm going back to college. I'll coach Alabama.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, and it's approach, right? There's a certain approach. You deal with certain people.
Who knows?
a certain
Pete
way.
Carroll might want to go back to USC because he's probably going to get canned at Seattle.
Well, Seattle.
I don't know if USC's going to be going, last time we got here, we got a championship, but we were basically one step away from getting a death penalty.
See, my whole thing with Pete Carroll is I just think they like him, so I don't think that. I think if they just
Gum chewing moron.
yeah, I think he'll get another bite at fixing that team before they they fire him. I don't see because as far as trying to retread, coaches and then trying to pick the next big guy or new guy. I think with Carroll, he's kind of earned enough. I think they'd give him another shot at.
They'll give him one more year, but I don't know if
rebuild
Russ will be there next year.
Well, that's my point. I think they'll let Russ go. I think he'll because you're gonna have two big quarterbacks, and we might as well use this as our segue into the NFL stuff because we still got pick'ems and fantasy moment. But let's sneak this in real quick. The two big quarterback names that are going to be out there next year are going to be him and Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron ain't going nowhere.
No.
Because that division, he owns the division. Where's he going? Being where he's at is his best, and he's just got to get them to get a couple of players, and that's what this is. It's about leverage.
Does Green Bay say, you know what, we're enough of the freaking bullshit and the defense. You know what, we're going to let him go, and we're going to make a play and try to get Russell.
Well, then you have a quarterback swap scenario.
Then if I'm Green Bay, I do because they're probably going to lose Devontae Adams because he's a free agent too.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be key to keeping that team together. But I think Rodgers stays. I think Russell Wilson moves, and I think they give Pete Carroll a chance to do this again.
Yes.
So they'll go through whether it be a year or two. And they try because there's no big unless they do something in free agency. There's nothing major they're doing in the draft. We already talked about it with the Lions.
No,
Like
there's not. This is probably the worst quarterback draft I've seen in years.
Right. So that's going to be where it's going to be a little tricky for them.
Whereas 2 years ago was one of the best ones we've seen in years.
Sure. So that's going to be where it's a little tricky, but we'll see how that all plays out. That would be a crazy blockbuster scenario if you had two major quarterbacks like that just leave, let alone if it was an actual quarterback swap scenario. That'd be amazing. You just don't see that. You just don't see it. Cats don't leave until they're long in the
Tom
tooth.
Brady joking about it. He goes, man, I'm the fastest man alive. I'm a dual threat quarterback after that 12, his longest run of his career. You know what? You know how bad the Giants are when they basically made Jason Garrett a scapegoat right off the bat. I'm like, dude, you need to just blow this whole thing up because it just ain't working.
Yeah, no.
Danny Dimes is not the answer.
Well,
Gettleman, instead of fighting Jason Garrett, you should have fired Dave Gettleman right off the bat.
Well, that's to me where it's at, right? Like, because homeboys regressed. It's Danny Dimes.
I would have hired Jason Garrett as an offensive coordinator anyways because I thought he was terrible.
Well, and that's why I think he's regressed because they don't like him and they don't want to deal with him. So this could be addition by subtraction, and maybe
and they're totally misusing Barkley.
Oh, without a doubt. But the problem with Barkley is he's also not what he was drafted to be.
Right, because he's gotten beat up in that. His rookie year, you go, okay, he is the real deal.
Yeah,
and everything. I think they misused him on there. I think, again, both head coach and offensive coordinator. But, yeah, he's been banged up and injured-wise because your offensive line is just terrible.
Bingo. And that's the thing that we talked about with a lot of this stuff is, building from the trenches, right? And if your offensive line isn't right, you can't run the ball. It's just, it's all those cliches. But anyway, here we go.
So we got fantasy on there. So they're wrapping up here. Your week 12. You're probably going back to your divisional play for the last 3 weeks, and then you're going into playoff mode on there. And you're scrambling. You go, Jesus Christ, how am I going to make the playoffs on there? I am 4-7 here. How am I going to do it, dude? You get a 3-game run on there. You maybe sneak out the division on that because everybody else is probably right around that. You just got in there. So what are you going to do on there? You need a quarterback on there. And guess what? This week on there, you got a couple options on there. Definitely is Big Ben is still available on most of your leagues on there. Again, its matchup is pretty nice. They got Cincinnati, especially after Big Ben had a nice couple weeks ago, so we'll look at that. Taylor Hinkey's got a great matchup. Why? They're facing Seattle, and Seattle can't stop anybody on there, so I definitely like that. Yes, the Red Ryder BB gun. Why? Because they're only playing. Why? Because they're playing the Lions. That's the only reason why I would go an Andy Dalton reference, because they're playing the Lions on there.
And the Lions are bad. They'll find a way to lose this game.
They'll find a way to lose this one. If you've got running back woes on there, and you've got Kamara, who's out again on it, definitely look at Ty Johnson on there. Yes, a Jet. The reason why you say he's taking that, why? Because they're playing Houston this week on there. They're terrible on that. Tennessee.
Didn't they win last week?
Houston did. They pulled an upset. They beat Buffalo. Houston beat Tennessee. Twice this year. Twice Tennessee is lost to Houston. The only team Tennessee gets their ass handed to them is Houston.
We'll talk about that a little bit in the pick. I'm sorry.
So we'll go into that as well on it. Boston Scott for Philly on there. They're playing the Giants, and the Giants are terrible. Definitely like Latavius Murray this week with Baltimore. And then also is DJ Dallas with Seattle. They're playing Washington on there. And last one is Matt Breida. Yes, Matt Breida with Buffalo. They're playing New Orleans, and New Orleans is not very good either on it. Receiver-wise on there, Elijah Moore. I'm going to still stick on that one. He's probably picked up in most leagues, but he's still available on a couple. Like him. Also like Van Jefferson, because they're facing Green Bay, and Green Bay's secondary is terrible. They're banged up. They're hurt. The whole defense is banged up and hurt. Definitely like that as well. Cedric Wilson, because everybody else is out for Dallas. Everybody's out. So go with him, even though he's like the 5th string receiver, because they're playing the Raiders, and the Raiders can't stop anybody on that. Like that as well. And again, we look at Marquise Goodwin, the 3rd running receiver for Chicago. Why? Because they're playing the Lions. Again, there you see my
you see a trend there.
Train there. Also, we got tight end wise Logan Thomas on there. I like that. Cole Met. Why? Because they're playing the Lions. And Austin Hooper on there. Hoopa. Yes, he's starting to he's back. He's a little healthy under, and they're going to him a little bit under, so definitely like that. And again, if you need a defense or a kicker, don't even talk to me on that. So there you go with your pick'ems on that.
Not bad, Moosey, not bad. But it's that time of year where it's slim pickings, and
slim pickings,
and there's a little bit of desperation there, So, so I get why people are looking to make moves. I remember I haven't played in quite a few years, but I did pretty good when I played. And yeah, there's a level of desperation sometimes when you get to this point of the year, because you're right there close, and then all these injuries come. And it's a long ass season, Moose. There's still 7 weeks left.
I know.
Oh, holy crap!
I mean,
holy crap!
We wanted more football. We got more football.
It's just, this is crazy.
So we got our first game tomorrow. We've got a national game. Yes, national game here. It is a 12:30 start here in the D. It's the annual Thanksgiving game. We got the Bears coming in there. The Bears are a 3.5-point favorite against Detroit. With that, even though I think they're denying it, but I think Matt Nagy will be fired probably at the end of the year, but maybe Monday. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? It could be. And they're in flux, and it feels like if the Lions are ever going to steal a game, this is
probably the one game they're going to steal.
It does feel like that. I just don't know. They're just so effing bad.
They're terrible.
They're just so bad. Like, the things that they're doing is just like, I don't know, man.
The only plus side is Penny Sewell is looking better and better now at the 2 games at right tackle again. Last week he looked really good. Didn't even give up a quarterback sack again on that, so definitely look at that. And also DeAndre Swift is looking really good on there.
Yeah, I do like Swift, but I've kind of always been keen on Swift. So, but it's one of those things, right? You're using him. You only got so much time with him because you can't spend big money on this guy to keep him around.
No.
You know, no matter. I mean, unless he just all of a sudden becomes that much better than he is now, and he is really good now, but it's just like, I don't know.
It all depends on if they're going to let Dan Campbell call offense, because if they do, it's going to be a suck game, and they're going to lose like another 13-10 or 16-13 or something like that with it. Let them call let Anthony Lynn call a freaking game. Of course, again, look at their quarterback wise on here. I still got Chicago winning this one.
I'm with you.
I mean, just because our quarterbacks are terrible.
It is.
They're
so
absolutely
bad.
terrible.
It's
I mean, maybe if David Blau was starting, I'd probably feel a little better. That's pathetic when you say David Blau's going to get us a win.
It's like
on here, but
it's like Harrington or Orlovsky.
Yes. Kitna or Orlovsky.
Yeah. Well, I'd take Kitna over all these cats right now. At least Kitna had some experience and some balls.
At least he had an arm.
And he had a gun, yeah.
So, but yeah, we got that on there. But watch, this one's going to be Detroit wins this one and screws us over.
Yeah, probably. But anyway.
All right, we got Raiders are going into Dallas. Raiders are a 7.5 point dog on there. Again, as bad as the Raiders have been playing the last couple weeks on there, Dallas is so beat up on there. I mean, I know they got...
They're a team of like waves, like up and down, up and down, up and down. It's almost cyclical, you know, the way they do it. I feel where you're coming from. I'm still taking Dallas in this game.
I think they're going to run the ball on there. I'm going to give it a steady dose of Pollard and Zeke on this one. I'm going to take Dallas because, again, the Raiders can't stop anybody.
No, the Raiders are just that bad. And Dallas likes to get up for these games. We always talk about Detroit getting up for these holiday games, but Dallas will get up.
Yes. So we got that. And we got the late game on there. Buffalo's had a couple really bad weeks on there. They're a 3.5 point favorite against New Orleans.
So disappointing.
New Orleans is, again, another team. It's getting, well, we gave Taysom Hill a great deal. Dude, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're doing over there.
I think Buffalo's going to win this one. I think they're going to right the ship because it's, again, freaking New Orleans has, again, Kamara's out.
That's the
Michael
key to
Thomas
me.
is still out. They have no quarterback.
Kamara is the key to me. You can run some gimmicky and do some stuff because you have a guy like Kamara. When he's gone, he's a crucial cog to that. I don't care what anybody says. You know, your whole Taysom Hill and all your gimmicks and throwbacks and goofy passes and all that stuff is predicated on the fact that Kamara is out there.
Yes.
And that he's an outlet, and that he's a decoy, and that he's everything that he does when he's out there just being on the field. And without that threat there, all that goes away. It's like gone. So to me, that's the key, and that's going to be why they can't. There's no way. I'm not keen on Buffalo, but this is there for the taking. So I got Buffalo in this game.
All right, we got first of the Sunday games. Pittsburgh is on the road. They're going to Cincinnati. They're a 3.5 point dog against the Bengals on that one. Bengals had a nice win last week against the Raiders on them.
It is the Raiders, but Pittsburgh, to me, is right on the level with the Raiders, right?
Yes.
Aren't they?
Yes.
I mean, they're not quite, they're just on the cusp, but they can never quite get it quite done. And they have better coaching, I feel, but
that's about it.
I just don't. So
I think at this time under JoJo is better than Roethlisberger.
Yep.
So I'm going to go with give me Cincinnati.
And when it comes down to it, that's where I'll go to. It's with the quarterbacks, and you're going to go straight up there. I'm going to take JoJo too, yeah.
All right, so we got another one on there. We got 1 o'clock at Tampa Bay goes up to Indianapolis. Tampa Bay is a 2.5 point favorite against Indy.
Only 2.5?
Only 2.5.
I mean, Indy's won some games, but I'm not like...
Well, again, the reason why Indy's won the game, Jonathan Taylor's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
I mean, you look under the last 8 games under, he's gotten over 100 yards and scored every game. Last week, look at what he did. 170 yards and 5 freaking touchdowns on this one. Now, again, if they keep giving the ball to Jonathan Taylor, give me Indy on this one. You know what? Screw that. I'm going to take Indy.
Okay.
Because I still don't think the secondary for Tampa Bay is really any good on that one, and I think in Brady a short week on there, so I'm gonna just go with.
I think, and that's kind of why I'm going that way. I'm gonna go short week, and for a guy that plays like that, it's hard to get back up and play again. You're not even just getting your body comfortable from a day-to-day standpoint. You know, you're not ready till Tuesday. Maybe Wednesday, depending on how much you get beat up. So I'm going to go the other way with it. I'm going to take Tampa Bay's going to take advantage of the fact that he'd be a little bit less effective not having the extra days to kind of let the body recover. And so I'm going to take Tampa this game, but I think it's like the spread shows it's going to be close.
It's going to be a field goal or less on this
Yeah,
one. So
yeah.
we got Carolina on the road to Miami. They're 1.5 point favorite. Yeah, they have Cam Newton, and that really did not help them last week against Washington wise on this one.
No.
But it is Miami.
I know. This is a tough one. That's why it's 1 point or whatever.
You know what?
'cause
I'm going to go with I'm going Carolina because,
Yeah.
again, they still have Chris McCaffrey.
Oh, McCaffrey, yeah, I tend to agree with that too. I'm going to go the same route. I'm going to go with McCaffrey in there. I'll take Carolina. Miami, neither team really wows me. It's like, and that's why that point is like, that spreads that point. It's just, that's one you can't touch with a 10-foot pole, man.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, I wouldn't touch that one.
yeah, so.
All right, we got another 1 o'clock game. Tennessee, who looked like crap because they lost to Houston
I
on there.
can't believe that. That game was like, what? But it's not the overall disappointment I'm getting from Buffalo because of their whole season's been like this year. But what is going on with Tennessee? They'll play great. They did good.
They beat all the best teams on there, and then they played Houston and just crapped the bed.
It's so weird.
They
man.
waived Adrian Peterson, and people are like, why are they waiving him? Because he's 170.
I know.
Dude, he has not been viable #1 running back in 5 years.
Yeah.
With that one on there. So they're a 5.5 point dog to New England. At New England.
New England is playing like a well-oiled machine right now.
That defense is really good.
Yeah.
And they've got a great power running game.
Oh. It's definitely helping.
I think New England says the one team you don't want to play right now.
Yep. I'm going to take New England.
New England might win the East.
We
thought Buffalo's going to walk.
That's
with
what I'm
this.
saying. Why is Buffalo crap in the bed here? They have a chance, and it's a small window because if New England's playing this good now, what are they going to be next year and the year after?
Right. What happens when they get some actual legitimate receivers?
Dude, you guys that hate the dynasty of the Patriots are going to be very disappointed in a couple of years because it's going to start all over again. You're going to be so mad.
Belichick will be 80 years old winning his 20th Super Bowl.
You guys will be so mad. I'm just telling you. It's coming.
All right. So we got Philadelphia is on the road. They're playing the Giants under. They're a 3.5 point favorite. Yeah, because it's the Giants. They're terrible.
Yeah, the Giants are so bad. Play calling is so bad.
Not that Philly's great or anything. It's just
No.
the Giants are that terrible.
No, I mean Hurst will only throw for 106 yards, but he'll run for 320. Because
Right.
they won't be able to do anything about it. I mean,
Right.
and they won't even scheme to change in the second half. Like, they can't make adjustments or anything. The G-men are just a mess, dude.
They
just
are a mess under. Here's a game that nobody has to be forced to watch. Even if you live in these two cities, you would say, can I watch another game on
Yeah.
there, please? Atlanta is going to Jacksonville. Atlanta is a 0.5 point favorite.
A
against
half a
Jacksonville.
point?
Half
Are you
a point.
serious?
Half a point.
I never even heard of such a thing. That 1 point, I was like, well, really?
Half a point on this one. Atlanta's terrible on this one.
Oh, yeah.
As
yeah.
bad as we rip on Jacksonville, Jacksonville's going to win this game.
Yeah, I think this is
Because Atlanta's
yeah,
terrible.
Sure.
They
Yeah.
have nothing.
They can't
Did
score.
you watch that game last Thursday? It's like, my God, they're terrible.
Well, they scored like 3 points in 3 games or
Yes.
something. It's like, these guys are...
They have
so
no
bad.
running game. They have, other than Pitts, they have no receivers because Ridley is basically out for mental health issues. And
I would be too if I fucking
If
played
I was
there.
on there, why can't they get it? I'm not re-signing with you guys. I want out. Trade me right fucking now.
I'd have mental health issues if I played there too.
I have
Jesus.
mental health issues just talking about
I
this.
know. They're giving me mental health issues just during the pick'em segment.
All right, we got next game. We got the Jets are going down to Houston. The Jets are a 2.5 point dog.
They're a dog to Houston because of that win, right?
Yes. I'm thinking the Jets are going to win this.
Yeah, dude. I'm like totally on the underdog here. If you're going to pick an upset special, why not that one?
Yes. I think the Jets win this one.
Yeah.
Jets, Jets screw themselves out of a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
And because it is
a meaningless
They only
game.
done that before, like last year.
Yeah. It is a
when Sam
meaningless
Darnold
game
said,
to
"Fuck
win."
you, you're gonna get rid of me. Fuck you, I'm gonna win these 2 games."
Yeah.
On your screw yourselves out of the number 1 pick overall. All right, so we got the Chargers are on the road. The Denver, they're a 2.5-point favorite. That's a 4:00 game. Chargers actually had a night. Herbert looked really good last week on there.
Yeah.
I think he keeps it going on there. Give me the Chargers against the Denver.
I'm with you. Though the Chargers have been a little bit of a disappointment this year, not quite what I was hoping to see out of them.
Yes.
I do expect them to. They did, like you said, they played well last week. Yeah, I expect them to beat
Yes,
Denver.
everybody
here.
looks like they're healthy with the LA
Sure.
on that. So give me Herbert, Keenan Allen, Eckler, Mike Williams. Give me the Chargers. Yep. All right, we got the 4:25 game. This looks like the game of the week on there. This is definitely the Fox game of the week. The Rams go to Green Bay. Rams are a 1/2-point dog against the Green Bay Packers on this one.
So it's close ones, man. It's crazy.
Everybody's gripping on Stafford can't beat it. Dude, Rams are going to take Green Bay out to the woodshed.
I'm with you. I think the Rams are going to put it to them.
Green Bay's defense is beat up. They can't. I mean, they're hurting. They can't stop anybody on there. Trust me, the Rams had the bye week, coming off a bad loss on this one. Devontae Adams has been covered by Jalen on it. Trust me, they are going to. Aaron's going to be running for his life. Aaron Donald's going to be pissed and hungry and mad. And give me the Rams. Stafford gets that win against a winning record team on there on the road.
Yeah, that would be a big win. I think. I don't think they'll take them to the woodshed, so to speak. I do expect them to win. That being said, Stafford. Excuse me. Stafford has had like some subpar games in some of these situations. Not that it would be so bad that they couldn't win, but I could see where Aaron has like elevated his game in these situations, so that they kind of meet in the middle, and this could be closer than you think, and that's why they have that spread.
Yes.
So tight. So I agree with Vegas. It'll be super, super tight, but I'm going to take the Rams in this one. But, dude, if Green Bay comes out here with a victory, I'm not as confident as you are. If Green Bay comes out of here with a victory, it wouldn't surprise me. But I'm going to take the Rams for sure.
All right. So we got another 425. We got Minnesota going out to Frisco. Minnesota's a 2.5-point dog against Frisco. Frisco's getting some running game going. Deebo Samuel looks really good as a jack of all trades there, doing everything, receiving, running, and everything. Minnesota had a nice win against Green Bay with it. One thing is Frisco's got a great front seven, but their secondary's there. I think Minnesota pulls an upset. Again, I think Kirk Cousins goes out there, and I don't think, again, they can't cover Justin Jefferson. And I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a nice game on there. Give me Minnesota.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
Plus, some supermodels dating Mike Zimmerman. So, dude must be gifted.
He must be gifted. Now, I'll take Minnesota. They've been playing really well lately. So I'm with you. I could take Minnesota in that game.
All right, we got 8. This game actually got flexed into it because it was a garbage game on there beforehand. I think it was on it, but we got Cleveland is facing Baltimore. Cleveland's a 4.5-point dog in this one. Baltimore coming off the bye week on there. Cleveland coming off a garbage win against the Lions.
Cleveland is messed up right now, man. How is it even that close to me? I don't feel it should be that close.
It isn't that. Again, it's not going to be that close. Give me Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'll take Baltimore in this game. Cleveland just feels like it's a mess all the way around. Your quarterback's not really in a good place either, and that's probably where it all starts, to be quite honest. And there's just too much going on. They need to hit the reset button, and you can't do that in week 10 or whatever the hell we're in right now. So
yes.
I got Baltimore.
And here's and then we got the last Monday night game on. We got a Monday night game. We really heard again a game that nobody really wants to watch. We got Seattle going to Washington. Seattle's a 1.5-point dog on the road.
Yeah. No, that sounds about right. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
But Washington 1-1. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Riverboat Ron pulls some shit off in the thing.
Yes. I'm going to go with again, I think Washington pulls the upset on there because on it, I think Washington's defense is playing a little bit better on there. And again, I'm going to root for Riverboat Ron.
Yeah, I think the Washington team can win this game. It depends on what kind of Russ you get, but he can't, do it all the time.
I got 6 dogs. You got 5.
Yeah. So I like
We're gonna
Washington.
look great, or we look like buffoons.
Well, our dogs, let's be
our
real
dogs
about
are
it.
really. I mean, we're not picking dogs. Some dog is like, oh my god, they're gonna. I mean, the biggest dog we picked on there is 2.5 points.
So
I mean, the Jets for the on there is 2.5, and I've got Indy, and that's a 2.5. Yeah, these aren't big on there. These are just like okay.
It's not like bold ass.
They're not super bold ass.
Yeah, no. So yeah, it's just one of those things, Moose, where like our pick'ems are a reflection of it, and don't get it twisted. Everybody out there has got their survival pool screwed up, or their pick'ems messed up, because it's just been a crazy year. Okay, so I've gotten like a few things right this year, but most of the time I've crapped the bed. But the one thing is that I knew this would be like this. I knew when we make these pick'ems, I'm just rolling with it and doing whatever, because I already know that whatever I pick, it's just going to be chaos.
Yeah.
And that's what we're dealing with. It's just such a weird year with the way sports are coming back to whatever normal is going to be. And so I just think all of that, and then with the NFL expanding the season and changes going on there with the way they're officiating stuff and how they're handling it, it's just the game's in flux a little bit.
Yes.
And so, and God damn it, you can keep talking all this narrative, but there's still, off the field stuff going on with the NFL that needs to be addressed. So I'm kind of curious on how that plays out. We probably won't hear much about it right now during the season, but I don't know. So it's there's a lot going on there in the world of sports to try to predict some of these games, and so we'll get a few things right here and there, but for the most part, just don't. This is entertainment purposes only, people.
Yes.
Let's be real. Don't.
So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't listen to us.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna lose.
Yeah. Just have fun and enjoy it, and argue in the comments and in the text, and we're all good with it.
Yep. So there we go.
That's what's up. So your go-to Thanksgiving stuff, Moose. We kind of do this every year.
Yeah. They were talking today on their new about box mashed potatoes. I'm being seriously. If you're making box mashed potatoes and I'm going to the house for Thanksgiving, I see box mashed, I'm walking out.
So okay, so
it's all about effort.
Let's break some of this stuff down. So I hear the thing now is mac and cheese.
Well, again, mac and cheese has always been a thing in Thanksgiving, with Black Thanksgiving.
I get that, and I get that mac and cheese is very versatile. But let's start breaking down starches here. Like, what are your very favorite starches on the sides that are more Thanksgiving traditional, right?
I'm a big stuffing guy.
Bam. Okay, so there's one.
And
then what's next? What, mashed potatoes?
I love real mashed potatoes. And dude, how hard it is to peel some mashed potatoes, cube them up, throw them in a pot, boil them, and throw them in a KitchenAid mixer and make some mashed potatoes.
I love me some nice smooth mashed taters. Now, I don't even mind if they're lumpy, to be honest. But
no,
and then of course, my lady is making sweet potato casserole, so sweet potatoes are totally in the mix, right?
Yeah, always.
So
are you a sweet potato casserole? I mean, do you get the souffle, or are you the whole casserole with the brown sugar and the loads of marshmallows on top, or are you a purist and just like, give me some baked mashed potatoes, little butter, little brown sugar, and just go minimal.
When it comes to sweet potatoes, I think I would probably go minimal. I'm not a huge sweet potato fan, but they go balls out because the boy likes the full on with the marshmallows and all that. So I think she'll go balls out with that. But see, we've named all of these starches that are sides before we even got to mac and cheese. And I'm not dissing mac and cheese.
I love mac and cheese
because the key is to get shells, right? Yes. And then it's to mix multiple cheeses, get some good cheeses, and then do you can do a Parmesan breadcrumb like crust on top, then And then if you're adventurous, you can add things like lobster.
Are you make
or-
your own cheese? Again, the lobster's a little decadent on there, on there, so it's great. I don't know if I would do that for like a holiday on there.
Throw a little
but if I'm
bacon
gonna just
in
do
there.
that on the side as a set, you basically hey, we're gonna do a little mac and cheese with lobster as by itself dish.
Sure.
On there as maybe more of a main course entree. And again, are you a mix your cheeses on there and just kind of mix it on there, or you make your more of the let's make a cheese sauce with all the cheeses and pour that in there? I'm a more of that, and then you mix it with basically the shredded cheese in it afterwards. So it's super. I don't know. The best mac and cheese I've ever had, and again, former host Scotty Super Genius made this for a Super Bowl party. He made a Bobby Flay mac and cheese. He used like Irish cheddar and white cheddar.
Sure.
He made a $50 mac and cheese, which was outstanding. But dude, it's still mac and cheese.
Well, that's kind of my point, right? Like, so when I start thinking of more traditional go-tos, there's quite a few that I would get to before I would get to mac and cheese. So not to diss the mac and cheese community, but it's not really on my radar. So we've gotten a few suggestions already here. And, of course, the cranberry sauce is a must and not the can-shaped crap.
Get the cranberry relish, on there. If you're going to buy it at the store, you go to Kroger or go to Meijer, get the cranberry orange relish, outstanding on there. Or if you can, make your own cranberries, and they have the orange zest and the blood oranges and that. Much better than the ocean spray in a jar, jelly, whatever that. Something that's totally not natural with it. I think mac and cheese is more of a Christmas thing on there where you're doing your ham and the mac and cheese, or at Easter if you're doing the ham and the mac and cheese versus Thanksgiving.
Well, I think you're right on with the Easter gimmick to me. I think that's like perfect timing for like a mac and cheese. It's more hearty. It's kind of filling.
It goes perfect with the ham.
Yes.
And if you're like, cool, and then leftovers, say, you know what, I'm going to cut up the ham. Yeah. I'll throw it on the leftover mac and cheese, throw it in the oven for a little bit, get it all crisped up nice, and there we go. Bam.
Yep. So I think I'm with you on that. But so yeah, there's a lot of go-to stuff. I'm all about the sweets. Like we have a name texter from the 213, same deal. He's all about the sweets. Sorry. And I'm all about the sweets too. I like the apple pie. It's the traditional American apple pie, right? Like I gotta have that in the mix. Of course,
apple pie, pumpkin pie,
pecan pie.
Pecan pie is a little too rich for me on there. It's just too much on it. It just puts me in. Of course, I can't do that anyway. So, but again, I love the pumpkin pie. Mincemeat pie is totally underrated in my viewpoint on there.
Okay, so
but my ex and we went to her parents and they would get like pies, but they're like there was no apple pie, there was no pumpkin pie. I'm like, where's the pumpkin pie? Well, we don't like that. Like, what's Thanksgiving? You gotta have pumpkin pie and apple pie.
Right.
And it's like the chocolate French silk I'm making. So I made pumpkin pie one year.
All right.
From scratch. Man, gorgeous. I made 3 pies, brought 2 over there. I didn't have any leftovers from them. They ate the whole thing. I said, nobody likes it?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Nobody ate it because nobody brought it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I make it, like, oh my God, it's like, how hard it is to make a pie. It's not hard to make pumpkin pie.
Well, what it is whoever throws that together doesn't like apple pie, so they don't put it in the menu, right? And so whoever's putting the family thing together and dealing with the menu says, I don't like pumpkin pie, so I'm not putting it in the mix. And so no one gets it, and no one bitches.
Now, would you prefer sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie?
I'm more of a pumpkin pie guy. I don't know. I just like to put a little spritz on there, and I'm cool with that.
Whip or whipped cream?
I prefer the whipped cream.
They're damn right.
So,
you get cream or oil?
Yeah, it's pretty simple choice. I mean, just the density, like the way it feels and tastes, is just texture and taste is just significantly
and people
different.
Always bitch about
she'll make it the whipping cream from scratch.
Oh yeah, you get the heavy whipping cream, a little confection sugar, and just throw it in there with the whip.
She'll do that too, man. That's the real deal.
That is the real deal on it. And people always bitch about turkey, dude. If you do your turkey right, it's freaking awesome.
Yes, if you're getting dry turkey, whoever is cooking you
need to take it away from them.
Yes, they're not allowed to do it anymore.
Key on there, even if you're roasting it, brine the turkey.
Yeah.
Get a brine mix on there, brine recipe, or buy just a brine pack on there. It can be on there. I do the apple sage brine on there. Yeah. I'm brining my turkey for 36 hours prior to smoking it.
Yeah.
And again, I prefer to smoke turkey on there. I love the fried turkey. I think it's great on there, but I do like the flavor better out of the smoked bird. I like that. Again,
even if you're doing the traditional kind of like baking the bird, just baste the shit out of it.
yes, brine it, lift up the skin,
Yeah.
pats of butter,
Yep.
season it up, baste it, and there you go.
Yeah.
Again, you don't overcook the bird on there, but the key is you got to brine the turkey
Yeah.
on it. And again, you can come up with great. And again, trust me, there's nothing better on Saturday, and you got your smoked turkey leg, and you throw it in the oven, heat it up on there. You're sitting there drinking your Bloody Mary, eating your smoked turkey leg, watching football at 12 noon.
That is absolutely.
And again, there's great leftovers for turkey. You can come out with tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Best thing is, make a homemade pot pie for a couple days later when you're basically almost done with turkey.
Dude, I will take the old mashed potatoes, the turkey gravy, and I'll mix it all up in a bowl, and I'll put a little bit of salt and pepper on there, and I can get some of that real nice loaf bread or rolls or whatever you got going from leftover, and maybe something else. But I mean, I could just sit down with that all in a mix and just eat it like those KFC bowls. I don't care. Put a little corn in there, maybe.
I saw a recipe on there. Guy was made leftovers on there, and he was making the turkey sandwich. And he took the bread and he grilled the bread on there, but he used the grilled portion on the inside of the sandwich. And he basically took the third piece of bread, sat there and soaked that in the gravy, and put his turkey stuffing, little cranberry, then the piece of bread on top, and turkey cranberry on there, and he basically got his, I'm like, and of course mayonnaise, and he going, holy shit! And of course the sandwich is like 6 inches high.
Right.
You're going, oh, how the hell are you gonna eat that? But damn, that looked good.
Good. Yeah, those are amazing. So guys, do that. Get in. Enjoy your holidays. Spend time with your loved ones. Be safe. Stuff your face. Enjoy your football if you can.
And if you got to deal with your drunk uncle, just ignore him.
Yeah. Yes. Just go the other way. We love
Keep
you
away
guys.
from the politics. We'll see you next week. Peace out, brothers. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon.
You're listening to Studio 57 Radio, your home for underground hip hop.